Well, viewers, it looks like we have some questions about the legality of a quadricycle. A quadricycle, as long as it has pedals on it, falls under the same rules as a bicycle. E-bike wise or bicycle wise, it's all the same. So you treat this the same way you would an e-bike for different classes. I would suggest you check your local laws, even though state law may say one thing, your local laws might supersede state law and it might say a different thing. That's just the way it is. But I don't see these bikes being epidemic to a community. I mean, these are rare, you don't see them a lot. It isn't like these electric scooters are all over the place and people complaining about them. So I've ridden this thing for over 1,300 miles and not once have I ever been pulled over about the legality of the bike. Riding on the sidewalk or riding in the street. That was in LA as well as here in Arizona, Casa Grande. And as far as electric motor goes for it, like I said, it falls under the e-bike rules. So just follow the bicycle laws and rules and classes and you should be just fine. There shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. Well, viewers, these are the options for us on stripes. I can block it and then stripe it out like that and shoot it with the yellow, then pull up the green tape and we'll have those three stripes. Or I can block it just like that, which I'm in favor of. That's a 1/2 inch stripe. Or we could tape it off and block it like that all the way through it. So I'm kind of in favor of something like this because it'll give me a nice stripe that you can see it, where if I did something like this you may not really see it until you're really on top of the bike. I want to see something that'll stick out. So I think this would look a lot better. Well, viewers, we're getting ready to start blocking our stripe, and I got 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/8. Well, viewers, we got this thing all blocked out. We're ready to shoot it with the candy orange, and I got the other side done as well, so we can shoot it all at the same time. I did change this concept a little bit because I'm gonna have to tape this back out. These are for where the column steering mounts go, so I don't want to waste paint going across that because you're never going to see it anyway. Plus the chain guard is going to be over here, so you're not going to really see that too much. You'll see a lot of this here and this down here, but on the other side you'll see all of it. So I believe I have enough candy orange to do that, so let's spray it. Well, viewers, we're getting ready to shoot this, and I just thought I'd point out this candy orange, how it's applied. It's even though there's 3 cans here, it's a 4-step process. The first step is to have a primer surface. That's done. Then the next is to put on this silver metallic course. When you shoot this, first of all, you can shake it up real good for at least 2 minutes, and while you're using it, shake it in between each shot. Keep it well shaked. So that goes on first, and that takes about an hour for it to dry. 1 coat, that's all you need. Then the candy orange. That takes at least 2 coats, if not 3. And then finally, the 2K clear coat. Okay, this is the metallic. I went ahead and cleaned this all off with alcohol. Now my lines aren't perfect. I had to kind of fix this up a little bit. It's still not right, but it gives it character. Usually only takes one coat of this. Good. That's beautiful. Good. So 3:37. So I believe it takes an hour to dry. And then the next one is the orange. And this is what I'm afraid I may not have enough of, so we shall find out. Well, viewers, we're getting ready to shoot the first part of this candy orange on. And the first coat is going to look gold. The second coat is going to look copper. And the third coat will look more like orange. So, I'm hoping I got enough of this. I have to get close to it, so I'm trying not to get any runs. Make sure I get it pretty good. Looks pretty good. And when that starts to dry, it's going to look gold. Okay, now this side. Trying to hold the can as close as possible without putting runs in it. That should do it. Round one. And we've still got a lot left, so we're going to make it. We're going to have some left. Well, viewers, we got our first coat of candy orange on it. And you see how translucent that paint is, because the first coat looks gold. And the second coat is going to look copper. And the third coat is going to look like orange. Well, viewers, we got our first good coat on there of the candy orange. And you see it looks kind of copper. And I put the first layer on, it looked gold, so it's turning more copper. So I shot it a second time basically. So we're gonna let this dry real good for an hour. We're gonna come out and shoot it one last time. Well, viewers, we got our third and final coat. This is what the color it's gonna be. That's why I'm leaving it. I don't want to waste any more of the orange. because I got other things I like to do. This is what the other side looks like. So it depends on the light, you know. It looks kind of, I think it's a cool color. So we're going to let this dry, and then we're going to hit it with the 2K. I'll probably put 2 coats of 2K on it, which is the clear coat. And let that dry for an hour, and then start pulling up the masking tape. Oh, that'll be a fun job. Well, viewers, we got our second coat of the 2K on, the clear coat. We're going to call that good. We're going to let it dry. Then we're going to strip off all the tape and see what we got. Then the next step will be to tape off all that candy orange. Tape it all off on both sides. Well, viewers, we're getting ready to unveil this thing. The first thing we want to do is take off our tent. You notice I use these binder clamps from Office Depot. They come in handy for this kind of stuff. That way no overspray could get in here. Plus I taped it way back in there, so you can still see it got through even though I had that taped off. So, like, I taped it back as far as I did. The rest of it looks fine. So we can get rid of that and start pulling up all the tape. Well, there's all the tape I used. That's the end result. It came out pretty good. Good enough where I could do a little bit of pinstriping on it to make it even a little bit better. So now I gotta do now is tape out all this copper or candy orange metal flake. I need to tape it out, but I gotta let it dry. I'm gonna let it dry for a couple days. And here's what the other side looks like. Pretty close to being identical. Looks great. Well, this is the left side of the bike, and it needs a little bit of TLC. Especially the bottom line here, that's too thick. We need to thicken that line up a little bit, fix that up a little bit. And this needs to be fixed up a little bit right in here. And I think that's it. So I need to tape those two areas out and then shoot some more of that candy orange in there, unfortunately, but you know, it's better to take care of it now and let it sit for a couple of days and then go ahead and tape off this side. Well, viewers, this is the other side, the right side. It came out good enough. I can actually tape this out now, block it out. But I'm going to wait another day. I want to dry for at least 2 days. You don't want to start taping out something that's not dry thoroughly. You make sure it's thoroughly dry, especially if it's going to sit on there for 3 or 4 days. So, and I know it's going to sit on there for at least 3 or 4 days. So we want to make sure it's dry. Thoroughly dry, that is. So this is in pretty good shape. We're going to leave it. Because the pinstriping will take care of any imperfections I got there. It's not bad. But the other side is unacceptable. We have to fix some of that. This side needs a little bit of touch up on the candy orange. So I need to fix this up a little bit. It's not quite right. Get it right so it looks well enough where I can pinstripe it. I got this all taped out to do the touch up. To even up the lines, and hopefully this is going to be right. If it's too big over here, I can always fix that. No big deal. Right now I'm just adding the candy orange where I need it, and when we tape it off, any of the candy orange that's too wide, I'll just tape that off, and then when we paint the yellow, it'll all be nice and even. Right now we're just getting this candy orange. I just put on the silver and let this dry, and then I'll go ahead and shoot it 3 coats of that orange. That little spot there, and this long spot that goes down to about there. And that's it. Well, viewers, we got this all touched up now, so it looks just about the same on the other side. Just about. So all we need to do is let this dry and go over it with some 1000 wet and dry, 1000 wet and dry on the edges, you know. Just sand block it. And same thing over here, but I gotta let this dry for 2 days. This one's ready to be sand blocked, and I'll go ahead and sand block it with the 1000, get the edges off, and start taping this out with the green tape. Well, viewers, we got this thing all taped out with the green tape, and if you notice as I pan across, you'll see some of the orange showing. That's fine. It's what we want. We want it some wicking. So when you lay this, you want to have the cherry or the orange or whatever base color you're using a little bit wider than what you need. So when you paint the bike, it'll wick to it. So if you notice, there's a little bit showing all the way down. Not much. In some places more than others. But we're just trying to clean up the lines so we can do the pinstriping, and it should come out looking really, really good. Professionally done. And I suggest if you do anything like this, definitely get the green tape. It's way worth the money. And if you do get the green tape, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to tear it off like you would some masking tape. You want to cut it because it has some plastic in it that makes it stretch, kind of like pinstriping. So if you pull on it, you stretch it, and when you go to use that other end, if you need that sharp end, guess what? It's all leafy. Makes it more difficult to lay, is what I'm trying to say. Well, viewers, it looks like we've decided on paint. They had this Russell Farm for $5 a can, something like that, and they had a lot of it. So, and that's about the bright kind of yellow I'm looking for. It's supposed to be a John Deere yellow, and I like it. It's bright, so it'll be it'll be a visible bike, very visible. So I like that idea, and I like that with probably with the orange. It's gonna look really, really neat. And then we got some clear. We got some Crayon clear coat. We'll tighten up on that a little bit. And we got some more primer. And this is probably the biggest can of paint I've ever seen. I had to buy it. It's black paint. You can never go wrong with black paint. Always have that around. It's like a 24-ounce can. It's huge. It's a gloss protective enamel. That's exactly what I want for the motor plate, so awesome. Well, viewers, look what fell back into rehab for prep, the frame. I was a little concerned about the yellow going over some of that fluorescent showing through the paint. So I decided to go ahead and take care of some spots that I need to take care of. And painting over that fluorescent took 3 coats of paint in some cases to get it to cover. So basically I decided to do the spots and then just shoot the whole frame. It's the only real way to do it right. And then rub it out with some 1500. Well, viewers, we just about got this frame out of rehab. It's almost all finished. It's got this another coat of paint on the bottom. I did the same thing on the bottom as I did on the top. I hit all the spots that had a lot of fluorescent and reshot the whole thing. So it has, I know it has at least 4 coats of primer on it. So we're going to let this thing dry overnight and then sit it out in the sun tomorrow and bake it on both sides. And then the following day we'll go ahead and rub it out with some 1500. Meanwhile, we have all this stuff to primer up and paint and stuff. The front end, it needs to be rubbed out, and I'm sure just by looking at it, I'll probably have to shoot it with primer one more time. The brake lever bar, the turn knuckles, and by the way, this was the color we originally were going to do. I even put some clear coat on it to see if I liked it. It did help the paint a lot, but I just don't like the color. It's too butterscotchy. It's not bright enough. I want a little bit brighter bike, so that's why I went with the yellow. So anyway, we'll be painting this stuff up very soon. Well, viewers, this thing's all dry now, so we're starting to rub it out with the 1500. You can see we're still getting a little bit showing through. I'm going to leave it. We'll just shoot all the edges and corners and all the weld joints first, and then let it dry, and then shoot it again. So I think we'll be fine. I'm not going to worry too much about that, besides it's on the bottom. So the top might have more coverage than the bottom. I don't know. But that was because I had some runs. I had to take care of some drips there because it ran down, that was dripping. So that was self-inflicted. But other than that, we're rubbing that all out. I rubbed this out yesterday and painted it yesterday. It just needs to be rubbed out one more time. And these got the second coat. They need to be rubbed out, and these are ready to be painted. This is the front end, because when we get the bike done, we got to put the front end on first before we can even think about putting that on, the steering column. So we need to take care of this and take care of the front at the same time. And I got a bunch of other stuff underneath here we're going to paint, all the driving hubs and brake bands and all that kind of stuff. That's where I'm at. Viewers, we got the first solid coat of yellow paint on this thing. This is the bottom of the bike. So we're going to let this dry for about 2 or 3 hours, an hour or so, and then come out and shoot it again. Well, viewers, we got this thing right side up now. We got the bottom is all dry. It's set for a day and a half, maybe 2 days. I've been rushing it. We got this side up now. We're going to go ahead and shoot a good coat of paint on the top side and blend it into the sides of the bike, get it all covered up. And the thing is, I don't like the way the paint's going on. It's going on real beady in some spots, and in some spots it's smooth, so I don't get it. Other than it's thick paint. I know it's not the surface, because the surface was perfectly smooth, so it has to be the way the paint's coming out. So I'm just hoping that the paint, by the second coat, a lot of that will go away. So it's only first coat, so I shouldn't be too freaked out about it, but see what happens on the second coat. Well, viewers, we got the top all done. We got the first coat on it. It came out much better than the bottom did. As you can see, it's got a nice reflection in it, and smooth. It's not pimply looking. That will rub out real nice. A little bit of pimpling in there, not that bad, but it's, second coat will fill that in real nice. So the top came out much better than the bottom. Now the only explanation I have for that is when I did the bottom, it was in the morning time, and the paint was sitting out in the garage, and it was kind of cold. I read the labeling. It said 50 degrees. Between 50 and 90 degrees is the ultimate temperature is 70 degrees. So this time I waited till it was 70 degrees before I painted the top of the bike. I also set the paint cans out in the sun and let them get hot. And I shook them up real good, and it seemed to go on a lot better. So we're going to let this dry. And then tomorrow we'll flip it upside down and we'll do the same thing on the bottom. Hopefully get the bottom to come out and the sides come out a little bit better. It's pimply. I don't know how else to explain it. A lot of this I can rub out, but I got to make sure I got at least 2 coats of paint on it before I can even you know, think about rubbing it out. But that's where we're at. We also got the front, got its first coat on both sides and the turn knuckles. So when this is all done, we'll put the turn knuckles on and then attach it to the front of the bike when it's done. So we're getting there. It's taking us very slow progress with this paint because the paint takes so long for it to dry. And rubbing this out, I don't know. Hopefully it'll rub out real nice because it's still pimply. Not as bad as it was on the bottom, but still pimply. So I'm thinking a second coat of paint, fill that all in, and we should be able to rub it out. And well, viewers, I decided to do a second coat on the top before I do the bottom, just to see if it got any better than what it was. And it is getting better. There's less pimpling in it than it was before, and it's getting more shinier. So it looks like, looking at it, it looks like one more coat of paint will do the trick enough where I can rub it out. I don't mind rubbing out some pimpling, but when it's really, really heavy, it's almost impossible to rub it out without going into the paint. You know, the original primer paint and the original fluorescent paint. So I think one more coat is going to do it. So I think we're going to let this dry. And well, it is dry now, but I can't paint it tonight. I'll paint it tomorrow morning. So we'll put another third coat on the top of it and see how that turns out. If it turns out it's just what I want it to be, then we'll flip it over and we'll do 2 more coats on the bottom. I am going to pull some of the tape on this small stripe here just to see what we got, to make sure we're not having any problems with because this is enamel paint that's pretty tough. So I just want to make sure the tape pulls up okay. So that's something I'm going to do, and I'll show you the results of that. And we'll just take it a step at a time till we get it done. I pulled the tape up. It came up pretty easy on one little piece here. So I can lay it back down on there actually. So I'll stick it right there for right now. So it came out pretty good. It did tear a little bit there and there, but it's not that bad. Once you sand it all out, I think it'll be fine. It's not going to be perfect, but with some pinstriping along the edges, it's going to look fine. So we're looking good there. So I think I can leave this tape on. I think it'll be fine for another coat of paint. Well, viewers, I keep flip-flopping on this painting. I'm a little on the fence with this yellow, but it's on. It doesn't look that bad once you rub it out. So what I decided to do is I'm just going to rub out the whole bike the way it is and keep painting it and rubbing it and painting it and rubbing it until we get it where it looks good. And then we can clear coat it. So unfortunately it's going to take a lot of more time to do it that way, but it'll come out nice. Speaking of time, we're at that time right now. We're getting close to that 30-minute mark. So if you haven't subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't forget to smash that, because in that way you can keep up with this project, see where we're heading with it. So until next time, like I always say, if I can do it, you can do it.